Boys, welcome back to another video, and today we are once again going to be talking about squad battles on FIFA 22 and why I personally believe that adding co-op to squad battles is what ultimately has made this game mode so much worse, and something needs to be done about it before the game mode dies completely. Okay, so if we go back to FIFA 21 when co-op squad battles was first announced that it was going to be in the game, I don't know about you guys, but I personally was very excited. On paper, it seemed like a very good idea because 42 games of squad battles by yourself could be absolutely boring. And I mean, even with a partner, it can still be very, very boring because you're just doing the same thing 42 times over every week. But by yourself, depending on the type of person you are, if you like, that online setting to be playing with friends, doing that solo could be an absolute nightmare. So it seemed instantly like it was going to be a lot more fun. And the second benefit is that if you both were good players, if you and the person you decided to play with were good players, it could make things a hell of a lot easier. And that turns out to be true. It did make things a lot easier in FIFA 21. But yeah, on the surface of things, that seemed very good. A lot more fun, and it could make things a hell of a lot easier if you had a good partner to play with. And then the game came out, and we started, playing co-op. I remember the very first week, I played solo and finished second in the world. People didn't really understand co-op just yet, but then after that very first week, you could see straight away the influx of people playing co-op. And on paper, once again, it seemed like a good idea. But very, very early on, it became clear to people who were trying to play solo that this was no longer an option. If you really wanted to compete at the highest levels, playing solo had now been taken away from you. And this is where the trouble started, because not everyone can find a co-op partner for whatever reason. Some people don't have friends on the same console. Some people don't have friends that are willing to play 42 games of squad battles every week. There's a million different reasons, but some people would still prefer to play solo. And that option kind of got taken away from you in FIFA 21. So on a personal level, I went from finishing first in the world on FIFA 20 about 14-15 times throughout the year to moving on to FIFA 21, and I did not get a single first place finish by myself throughout the whole year. And the reason I bring that up is because I personally enjoy playing solo. There's just something about it, The biggest problem with 42 games is scheduling. You've got to try and find someone to not only do it with you, but do it in your time frame as well. You've got to both match up, and it's such a pain to try and find that. So I personally preferred playing solo. Even though I play co-op every week now, that's out of necessity. I genuinely much preferred solo, and having that option completely taken away was not good for the game mode at all, in my opinion. Anyway, so we got through FIFA 21 on co-op, and by the end of the year, it was just accepted that this is what you've got to do. You can still do pretty well on solo, but if you really want to do anything, you need to be a co-op. But then FIFA 22 was announced, and all the ideas were kind of running through my head, and I think there was some very easy fixes to co-op squad battles. You didn't have to remove the mode completely. There are ways you could have implemented it, kept it in, but kept it fair for solo players as well. So you kind of had a few different options to play squad battles. So if you did end up by yourself for whatever reason, whether that's what you preferred, or you just, you had no friends that week, you could at least play and try and compete. Option 1 is a separate solo leaderboard. It's very simple. We're looking here now. Instead of it just being top 200, you would have top 200 solo, top 200 co-op. Two separate leaderboards where if you want to play solo, you go on that leaderboard. If you start the week with a co-op partner, then you are locked onto the co-op leaderboard. That just seems such a very easy fix, a simple fix that EA could do. But obviously, going into the year, they didn't do it. And option 2 was an extra skill multiplier at the end of every game. Now, if you don't know how squad battles works, basically, depending on what difficulty you play your games on, you get a higher skill multiplier at the end of every game. It's basically what determines how many points you get, depending on what difficulty you played it on. And again, something that I thought was a very, very easy fix was just give players that play solo an extra skill multiplier. So, for argument's sake, say you play a game on Ultimate and you get like a 1.4% multiplier. If you play Ultimate solo, then give them a 1.5% multiplier. A very, very easy fix, something that could easily have been implemented, that could have made the game mode a lot more fair for solo players. But ultimately, EA did not choose to take any of those options, and they went into FIFA 22 squad battles with the game mode basically working the same as it did in FIFA 21. But it wasn't exactly the same, and as solo players this year know, they've made it so much worse than it was in FIFA 21. As previously mentioned, you could at least compete in FIFA 21. You couldn't really get the very top places. A co-op was always going to get the very, very top places. But playing solo and getting top 20 was a very, very viable option. It was realistic. I did it a bunch of times. Fellow YouTubers did it a bunch of times. It was a very realistic thing, very achievable that you could do week in and week out. This FIFA, however, to try and compensate for how easy co-op squad battles was last year, they've upped the difficulty massively across the board. Solo Ultimate is close to impossible. I mean, you can, like, I've done it and you can see that on the channel if you want to see it. It is doable, but to do it consistently and win every game and try and win every game 5-0, just impossible. It's just not happening. Then Legendary has been crazily increased as well. Legendary this year is probably like what Ultimate was last year, if not even harder. Same for even World Class. I've had a bunch of people messaging me telling me that they used to be able to play Ultimate/Legendary, a mixture, and now they're struggling even on World Class. So EA, what they've done is they've upped the difficulty to make it harder for the co-op duos. For the co-ops playing Ultimate, sorry. But what that's really done is, yes, it has made it more difficult for the people playing co-op Ultimate, but then the people playing solo Ultimate now don't have a chance at all, and it's completely unfair. And as mentioned, I now play co-op week in and week out purely because I have to. Like, I would much rather still play it on solo for all the reasons mentioned. It's so much easier to just find the time to sit down and do it solo, you know, just on my own time. Now I'm having to schedule it up every single week, every time I want to play with my partner, because, you know, finding the time to play 42 games is it's not easy, it's a real grind. And then on top of that, there's even more problems with it because Squad Battles is still 42 games. This was the year that they had a chance to change that. They changed up the reward systems of Rivals and Champs, but they left Squad Battles untouched, and I think that was a big mistake. They really had a chance to change something this year, and they didn't. So depending on how good at the game you are, FUT Champs rewards this year are amazing. I can easily get 12. Like, I can get 12 without even thinking about it, and the rewards you get for 12 wins are insane. And of course, the overall games has been brought down from 30. Well, it used to be 40 in FUT Champs. They brought it down to 30, and now they've brought it down to 20, which I personally think is a great change. It's so much easier to find time across the weekend to play 20 games than it was 30, or especially the 40 originally. And then Division Rivals too. Now, Division Rivals rewards aren't that great, even in the Elite Division, which I happen to be in at the moment. I think you get like a 100k pack, a 50k pack, and a red player pick if you choose the untradeable option. Now, that's not the best rewards, but you do only have to get 7 wins a week to get those rewards. And that the same applies no matter what division you're in. So 7 wins in Rivals to get some okay rewards. They're not the best, they're just okay. 12 wins in FUT Champs to get absolutely incredible rewards. Even 8 wins is still incredible rewards. And then you get to Squad Battles. Still the same old 42 games it has always been, but now it's harder than ever. You have to be in a co-op, and the rewards are the exact same boring things they've always been. Now, I know there has been some slight change. I do apologise. I can't think of it off the top of my head because I was always competing at the very top end. But for first place, first in the world, you still get 2 Ultimate Packs, 2 Rare Mega Packs, and 100,000 coins. And for top 20, the same as it's always been, an Ultimate Pack, 2 50k packs, and 87,500 coins. And the reality is, for 42 games a week, it's not enough. It's simply not enough. So yeah, that's kind of it. I kind of just wanted to get my thoughts out about this. You know, it's been something that's been on my mind a lot, you know, the state of Squad Battles, because I personally am struggling to play it week in and week out. This has always been my thing. You know, you subscribers to the channel will know that I have posted Squad Battles rewards week in and week out for almost 2 years now. And it's getting really difficult to find the motivation to play it again. So I just want to run through the reasons why. Why it's difficult to play Squad Battles now. 1, you have to be in a co-op, because solo is close to impossible. 2, the game mode is far too hard. Even in a co-op, it's still difficult. Again, I know they've tried to balance it to make it easy, to make it harder for co-ops, because last year it was too easy. It really was. Ultimate co-op was a joke. This year, it's far too hard. And for the solos, again, impossible. 3, it's too many games. You could so easily have brought this down. So it's 40, like so you see in the top left, just underneath me there, top right, sorry, 40 out of 40 matches played. But then you get these 2 featured games as well. So it's 42 in total. That could so easily have been brought down to about 28 normal games, and then the 2 featured games. So it'd be 30 games a week. Now, it might not seem like many, but knocking off 12 games a week, every week, is a hell of a lot of games to knock off, and it could so easily have been done this year. And finally, the rewards just aren't great for that many games. If you're asking me to play 42 games at an extremely high level, and I finish inside the top 20 in the world, I want rewarding for it. Now, I know it shouldn't be anything like FUT Champs rewards. I'm not suggesting it should be, even though I personally think that FUT Champs is easier than Squad Battles this year. I'll gladly say that, not a problem. I think Champs is a cakewalk in comparison to trying to get in your 5-0s on Ultimate. But whether they're as good as FUT Champs or not, they still need a boost. This is not good enough for 42 games on Ultimate and top 20 in the world. At least in my opinion, I don't believe it is. And yeah, like I mentioned, a couple of very easy fixes. Obviously, they could remove co-op entirely, but I don't think that's the option because I don't want to punish players that enjoy co-op. I don't think that's the right way either. Like I say, 2 easy fixes off the top of my head is 1, a separate co-op leaderboard. That could be so easy implemented. They're just too lazy to do it. And 2, like I say, at the end of every game, give an extra little bonus for playing on solo. So if you don't want to do a separate leaderboard, then let the solo players get that extra little bonus for doing it by themselves. And that way, hopefully, they'll be able to compete with the co-op players. But yeah, that is the end of my ramble or my rant, whatever you want to call it. I just wanted to get all these thoughts and ideas out into a video, put it out there, and let you guys, you know, just take it in and see what you think. But I definitely want to hear your opinions on this topic in the comments. I don't want this to just be me. I want more opinions. I want voices. I want to know what people are thinking. And again, like with the last video, it just takes the right person to see it, and maybe someone can do something. Or maybe that's just very naive of me to even think that. It probably is, but you've got to live in hope, right? You've got to live in hope. But yeah, that is going to do it from me, boys. Thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure you drop a like, hit subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you boys again in the next one. Cheers, boys!